So happy Tag Tuesday. If you're new here, my name is Becca and today I have the Try a Chapter tag. So I'm going to do the Tome edition of this tag, which I don't know if it's a thing, I think I just made it up. But essentially, when I got to 10 books ahead on my reading goal on Goodreads, I decided that I wanted to do this tag and pick a tome to read. Because I have quite a few, not only long books, but long series with really long books on my shelves. Some of them are some of my most highly anticipated books on my shelves. So I thought when I've got really far ahead on my reading goal, now would be a good time to pick a tome to read and continue with that series. So as of now, I believe I'm 13 books ahead on my Goodreads goal. It's time to read a tome. So I thought it would be incredibly boring if you just sat and watched me read books, which is sometimes what you do anyway, but you know what I mean. So the way we're going to do this is I'm going to tell you the 5 books that I have selected and what I do know about them. Then I am going to go and read a chapter throughout today and maybe tomorrow and do like a vlog style of my thoughts on the chapter that I've read. And then I will come back and let you know which one I've decided to carry on reading. The one that I select will be put into my May TBR, so I will be reading it very soon and I'm really excited to do this. So the first book I've decided to try is The Name of the Wind by Patrick Rothfuss. This copy has 662 pages. There is literally no extra bits or anything in the back. It's literally cover to cover. And what I know about this one is that it is about a guy named Kavoth. I'm not really sure. Like, I thought he was an assassin at some point and then I thought he was a musician. I don't really know what he is, but I believe that it's the story of his life and he lives in a fantasy world and sort of what he gets up to. So I believe he goes to some sort of magic school and he trains to do all sorts of different stuff. And there is also the running joke that he's literally good at every single thing he encounters without trying. But I've heard that this is really good and I'm excited to read it. Next we have Game of Thrones by George R.R. Martin. I don't need to tell you what this one is about because obviously you all know. And I've watched the TV show. I'm up to date on the show. And I am not only going to start rewatching that soon, ready for the last season in 2019, but I also want to read the books up to date. Not that it matters because I've heard that the first 3 books are pretty much exactly the same as the show, and then after that they kind of go in different paths anyway, but I would still like to read these. This one, minus the houses breakdown and the glossary, is 780 pages, and it is the first book of a 7-book series so far, with the last book still to be released. The next one I have is Mistborn by Brandon Sanderson. This is a very beloved fantasy series by a very beloved fantasy author. This one is 643 pages, and from what I am aware, it is about a world where you gain different powers based on the metals you can ingest. There's somebody outside, and if she turns around, she's gonna see me. She did, she just saw me. So if you get, oh, she's right there. So if you ingest one type of metal, then you gain a certain type of power, and then there are people called the Mistborn who can ingest all or multiple of the metals and have all of the powers. And I believe there's something about a rebellion trying to overthrow the government. So that's what I know about Mistborn. Then we have Illuminate by Amy Kaufman and Jay Kristoff. I believe this copy has 599 pages, and as you all know, it's told in mixed media format. I believe this will be quite a quick read compared to the others because of the format. I mean, I know there's some pages where it's just like black with a few words on. Like, that's not even readable. So I believe it'll be quite quick for the size of the book, but it is highly anticipated for me. I love Jay Kristoff, and especially now that this series has ended and I can just binge read it, I really want to get to it. So I'm going to be, because this isn't split into chapters, it's like case files, I'm going to read the first section, which is sort of, I think it's interviews with the 2 main characters, Katie and Ezra. So I'm going to read that one. I don't really need to tell you what it's about because I'm sure you all know a lot more than I do, but I believe it is about some sort of government and then a war starts and there's people stranded on different ships. But I don't really know. It's just a sci-fi told in mixed media and I expect to love it. And the next one is not so much one of my most highly anticipated ones, but it is one of the ones I bought very recently, and it's a 2018 release that I would really like to get to. And that is City of Brass by S.A. Chakraborty. The UK hardback is pretty chunky, and without the glossary it's 526 pages, so it only just meets the criteria. What I know about this is that it is set in, I believe, Cairo, and a girl discovers uses a lamp, like a magic lamp, I think, which I think she finds a lamp, but she definitely summons a genie, and the genie's like, you're not supposed to be able to do this, and then they travel to the city of brass, whatever that means. But I don't know anything about it aside from that. It might be a really good read to read right now because the weather's warm outside, like I'm just itching to get out there and read. And I'm also in the middle of Rebel of the Sands, which is perfect for the hot weather, like this one is, because it's set in a more exotic country than rainy, horrible England. Okay, so that's it for the breakdown of the books I'm going to be sampling. The next time you will see me will be in a vlog update as I tell you what I've thought about one of these. Okay, so I'm in the sun trying to get a tan, although it's a bit cloudy. And I've read the first 18 pages of Illuminae. It follows Katie and Ezra, who are teenagers that have just broke up, and they live in an illegal colony on some sort of planet that's there to mine the resources of the planet. And a rival mining company comes and starts to blow things up, and they are evacuating. And there's sort of angst between those two because, sorry, I'm rocking, because they just broke up and they're trying to evacuate together. One of them gets shot. It's already funny. I already like the interesting style that it's told in, although I know the format does get a little bit weirder, so I don't know how I'm going to feel about that, but I'm intrigued. This is definitely a contender. Solid start to this book. Just read the first chapter of City of Brass. It is set in 18th century Cairo at a time when the French and I believe the Turkish are fighting over control of Egypt. The main character, Nari, is a healer, but she also has some like magical abilities to sort of sense people's illnesses and also heal them, although she's not really sure of her origins. Her origin language is a strange one that she doesn't know what it is, she just knows how to speak it. She is essentially a con artist, and even though she has these powers, she cons people into thinking they're ill to give her money, and she also performs, what are they called? Exorcisms, even though she doesn't believe in possession. And then she meets this little girl who is actually possessed, and it confuses her a bit. So that's where I'm up to so far. I did really enjoy this, however I'm not sure if I will be continuing with this one, and that is because if I do enjoy Rebel of the Sands, which is my actual current read, I will be reading the other two books in that trilogy in May, and they are very similar culturally. Rebel of the Sands is set in a desert, this is set in Egypt, so it's the same sort of culture and environment, and I don't really want to read two books that are so samey, and also that I might confuse between each other because they do both also mention jinn, which are I believe genies, so I'm not sure I will continue with this one, although the first chapter was amazing. I just read the prologue of Mistborn, The Final Empire by Brandon Sanderson. This starts off in a place where the sun is red and there's ash falling out of the sky, and they mention ash mounts, which I'm not sure if that's volcanoes. And it's set on a plantation, and there's this guy who rules the manor, and he has a lot of slaves to work in the plantation. And it sort of goes through his meeting with some important official, and then it goes down to the slaves, and a traveller comes in and he's trying to sort of incite rebellion in them. In the nighttime, one of the master's soldiers comes to take a girl away to rape her, and the traveller goes after her and burns the manor down, and I believe he is one of the Mistborn, and by burning the manor down he forces the slaves into rebellion. I would say that of the three that I've read so far, this is the one that I'm most intrigued to continue. It left me in a place where I wanted to read more. And I think that's also partially because I don't really know anything about this book or this world. So I want to see how the slaves are called the Scar, which I imagine is their race, but I don't know what that means, and I want to learn more about this world and this story. So this is also a strong contender, although I feel it will be a much slower read than Illuminae. So far it's probably going to be this or Illuminae. Okay, so I managed to make it outside again, although it is still cloudy and I'm a little bit cold. But I did read the prologue of Game of Thrones, and I should have worn sunglasses to film this. So in the prologue you follow a few members of the Night's Watch who have been sent out to look for somebody, and one of the members finds them and says that they're all dead, and the sort of leader of the party doesn't believe them. So then they go back out to look, and they're all missing, and they encounter White Walkers, and at least 2 of them die. That's all that happens in the prologue. It's only 10 pages. I wasn't gripped by the writing style in this, and I think that I'm not going to be continuing with Game of Thrones just yet, because I think it's a little bit too, it's not too dense. I expected the writing to be a lot more difficult to read. However, As you can see, I'm sat outside in the sun right now, and for the next couple of months, if I'm not super busy, which I am for most of May, then I will be reading outside, and I like to read something a little quicker, something that's maybe not quite so difficult to concentrate on, and something that I can like really lose myself in throughout the hours I'll be spending trying to get a tan. So possibly not Game of Thrones. I did really enjoy this first chapter, but I don't think it is what I'm into right now. So I just finished the first chapter of The Name of the Wind by Patrick Rothfuss. I kind of enjoyed it, not a lot happened. I guess it starts in an inn with 5 friends are telling stories, and it seems like they're regulars in this place. And the innkeeper's called Coat, and I guess that's Kavoth, because he's kind of the main character. You follow him later on. And they find something that looks like a spider but isn't, and they discover that it's a demon, and then they sort of just kill it and bury it and get on with it. It does leave a little bit of intrigue, like I don't know anything about the world or where this is going to go or what the relevance is. However, it isn't quite as gripping as Mistborn was, so I don't think I will be pursuing with this one just yet. Also, I am kind of worried about this one because I was talking to Leah today and she's just read this, and I think she's about to start the second one, and she said that the third one, that Patrick Rothfuss has said that he's not going to write it as long as Donald Trump is president. So I don't know if I want to start this and really love it if the third book may not be coming anytime soon. So this one is probably a no for now, but again, the first chapter was really good and I am intrigued, and I will definitely pick it up at some point in the future. Okay, so I am here to wrap up my try a chapter tag. I've had a nice day in the sun and I have managed to read the first chapter of all 5 of these hefty tomes. So I couldn't be bothered getting my tripod and stuff out, so we're just like in selfie cam on my couch, and I'm gonna pick which one I'm gonna continue with for my May TBR. So as you will already know, I decided not to continue on this time with City of Brass, Game of Thrones, and The Name of the Wind for various reasons. The City of Brass is because I'm reading Revel of the Sands right now and I plan to continue that series, and it's pretty similar with the cultural aspects and the setting, and then the other 2 I think are just a little bit too much for me right now in the reading mood that I'm in. So that leaves Illuminae and Mistborn. This one I think is going to be a really quick read. I read the first bit, which was an interview. I really liked the humour and the characters, but I wasn't like super compelled to continue. Like I did want to, but with this book it's more that I want to see all the different types of formatting than know the actual story. Whereas this, I read 1 chapter. It was probably the easiest to read out of all of them in that I wasn't like looking where the chapter ends quite as much, and it left me super intrigued about what's going to happen next in the world. I've looked at my TBR and I'm already reading I think 2. I've already got 2 or 3 adult books already in there, but the rest are YA, so I'm going to use that as my decider. And I'm going to continue with Mistborn this time. So this one is 641 pages. I'm going to try and read this in May. Now I do have a subscription box candle order to do, and I have a wedding to go to, and I'm going to see Ed Sheeran. So May is pretty busy for me, so I might not get too much reading done, but I'm at least going to make a start on this in May and hopefully finish this whole book and continue with the series throughout the following months. So you will see this in my May TBR, which I think is going to go up the Sunday after you're watching this. So that's everything for the try a chapter tag. I know this was a longer video compared to a normal Tag Tuesday video, but I do hope you've enjoyed watching it. Please let me know if you have read any of the books I've mentioned in this video, and let me know your thoughts on them if you have. As usual, please don't forget to like this video if you liked it, and subscribe if you want to. If you head into the description box down below, you can find a link to my Goodreads, Instagram and Twitter if you'd like to follow me on any of those, as well as a link to my Bookish body butter and candle website, and there is also the Instagram for that and a download, not a download code, a discount code down there for that now. But that's it from me today. Bye! We'll be right back.